DCSA is like great standard around the specification of how container data should be standardized, but your
Hmm.
standards are only as good as people following them and agreeing and putting the right data inside of those attributes. And we see that
Right.
over and over again that like there's not a consensus on the and or testing or validation of like what LA looks like across all of the shipping lines, all of the terminals, all of the vessel data,
Yeah.
and that causes a lot of downstream challenges.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure where to begin. I can give you kind of like the high level challenges. I think the biggest one is the fact that shipping is global. And if you think about, I don't know where you live here in the US, there's a pretty good system from the post service where we have, zip codes and addresses and numbers, and they can do a pretty good job of routing something to the route place. And different countries have their versions of that, right? But what's the version to do that globally that everyone can talk about? So that's why shipping lines use the UN code system, and every country has its bodies that report data and they keep that set of locations updated. But the implementation country by country is completely like very different. Very different. There's more kind of, I don't know. There's as much art as there is science to it, and a lot of it comes down to taste and like, well, we think this place should have a location. Another country might not care about it. It's too small. There's no point. Okay, I think we should have a low code just for this area versus we should have one for the airport and the port and this area. Is that three? Is that one? That differs everywhere. So probably the biggest problem with the low code system is the fact that in areas where you have a choice of low codes that could represent the same place, is Shanghai CNSHA or is it CNSHG or is it CNSGH? It depends which shipping line you ask. And when it comes to the shipping lines, a lot of them implemented their things without before they perhaps even knew what low codes were, because they have things that look like low codes but are not actually low codes. So they've just kind of made up their own version. Like, to hell with that. We'll just make up our own codes for all the places. So unifying that across locations is a problem.